Previously on Pixelmon, I made a full set of Thunderstone armor, we made a Pokemon breeding area, and I started prepping my enchanted items for the Ender Dragon fight. With the last episode recap done, welcome to Pixelmon episode 9. To begin the episode, I went over some of the things I had done during my off-camera grinding sessions. Firstly, I used the spawner to fight Shuckles, as they had a 66% chance to drop Shulker shells, which I used to make the 10 Shulker boxes in my inventory. I also began building myself a storage area in an attempt to better organise the items I currently have in chests scattered everywhere. After harvesting some of the apricorns and preparing some Pokeballs, I found a Patrat just casually strolling around. As I didn't have one yet and thought it would be an easy capture, I tried my luck with an Ultra Ball. Unfortunately, luck wasn't on my side as it took 3 Ultra Balls to successfully capture it. Immediately after, I also managed to catch a Silicobra, Ekans, Starly, Diglett, and a Yamper. After a short break to try and spawn another Mew, I came back to my base and caught Scorpy, Shinx, Sandshrew, Baltoy, Nidoran male, Nidorino, and a Trubbish. After spending way too much time catching Pokemon, I returned to my village to find what appeared to be the Ender Dragon egg sitting in the open. I went to interact with it, and it teleported away. I became curious as I didn't fully understand what was happening, so I chased it around for a bit, interacting with it every time I found it. After trying it a couple times, I figured it would just continue to teleport, so I left it alone and went back to what I was supposed to be doing. After exploring for a while, filling in time waiting on the legendary spawn timer, we were lucky enough to have Meloetta spawn in the Sunflower Plains biome we were at. We tried to catch it without entering a battle, but after a lot of Ultra Balls, it was still roaming around. By this point, we had fears of it despawning, so I quickly entered into a battle to prevent it from doing so. After a lot of back and forth, lowering its HP and throwing Pokeballs at it, I successfully caught Meloetta. On the very next legendary spawn, we managed to get another Mew to spawn in. Even though we had already caught one, this one was to continue using it in the cloning machine so Dinky could also get herself a Mewtwo. After nowhere near as long as last time, Dinky managed to catch the Mew, so we teleported back to her base to begin the cloning process again. On the second try, she was lucky with a Mewtwo spawn. We both tried to catch it, as it didn't matter who caught it, we could trade it to the other person if we needed to. We spent about 15 minutes trying to catch the Mewtwo, using a ton of Ultra Balls in the process. Somehow, in amongst all the Ultra Balls I threw around, I managed to hit and catch a Geodude. I have no idea where he was, or how it happened, but I'll take it, I guess. Shortly after the Geodude catch, I also managed to catch the Mewtwo. We teleported back to my base, as that's where the trade machine had been set up. I grabbed the Mewtwo I had just caught, and Dinky grabbed one of the 2 Mews she had, and we traded, allowing me to mark Mew off my list. After all of the chaos of catching the legendaries, I returned to exploring around and filling in my map. During my travels, I came across a Cyndaquil. As Typhlosion is one of my favourites, I was very quick on ensuring I captured the Cyndaquil and not allow it to escape or despawn. Just after catching Cyndaquil, I travelled back to my base to grab some supplies before heading over to Dinky's base. She had set up a wall of furnaces for us to smelt our iron, gold and aluminium ore in, as we had a lot stored away and we were chasing after a Meltan. Meltan has an extremely low encounter chance, being just 1 in 3072 per metal block smelted. However, if you place multiple ores in the same furnace, it allows for that many spawn attempts. So for example, if you smelted 10 iron ores together and collected them once they had all finished, it will attempt the 1 in 3072 spawn 10 times. This means by placing full 64 block stacks into a furnace, it should greatly increase our chances of getting it to spawn. I ended up having 18 different furnaces running at once in a hope I could get lucky and spawn in Meltan. But again, luck was not on my side, as each furnace failed to trigger the spawn. I did some grinding and managed to gather enough resources to make myself a breeding area for Pokemon. By doing this meant both myself and Dinky could now breed our Pokemon. For a brief moment, you can see the 9x9 area highlighted by white squares I briefly mentioned in the previous episode. I tried to set up Ditto and Cyndaquil to test the breeding functions for myself, but neither Pokemon felt comfortable in the environment, meaning that I needed to put in some work in that 9x9 area to increase the rating. I went and put some cobblestone through the furnace to get some regular stone, as this worked for both Pokemon, and began replacing the affected area one block at a time. Once the entire area was done, the two Pokemon had a connection, and now it was just a matter of time until I had a Cyndaquil egg. With the breeder sorted, I was just filling in some time until Dinky and I started trading the Ditto eggs when I came across a Larvitar. Knowing how strong Tyranitar is, I couldn't help myself and had to catch it. Thankfully, it didn't put up much of a fight and I caught it after only a couple of attempts. I also found and caught a Gibble just outside of my base while waiting for Dinky to arrive. With Dinky finally arrived, we began the process of trading over some Pokemon eggs from her collection, so we both had some to hatch for the special episode. In total, she traded me over 25 eggs to go through and hatch, which could be any single Pokemon in the Pokedex aside from legendaries. For this video, we're not going to have an episode review updating how many Pokemon we've caught, because later on into the recording of this series, we determined that having the eggs in our PC, they've already linked to the Pokedex telling us what Pokemon we've caught and what we haven't. It was something we discovered later on, so for the time being, for the next few episodes, we won't have episode reviews, but I promise they will be coming back. I would like to thank you guys for watching episode 9. It shouldn't be too long, and I'll have episode 10 up with the egg hatching special, so stay tuned for that one, and I'll see you in the next video.